y'all, look who's coming up the road. It's old Rip One Outdoors. Yep. It's a lunch break. We're gonna go out and take a little ride. 70 degrees, probably 72, something like that. Nah, I don't know. It's just real pretty, y'all. Go out and take a ride out this way. I got something I want to show y'all, something I want to talk about for a minute. So we hope everybody's healthy and happy and well, as we always say. Things are well with us. As we said, we just had a little lunch break. Decided we'd come out and take a ride. Yeah, we come down this road the other day to show y'all about the circus or fair or whatever. Look at that sky, y'all. Isn't that pretty? All right, we're going down this way, down the highway. Of course, for some of you newcomers, this is Highway 607. It runs kind of north to south. And it goes to the NASA Space Center, where they test rocket engines. Right now they're testing the rocket engine for the Artemis program. Let's see. They got several things that they got. I know Boeing has some work going on down there. I'll think of the other one in a minute. They test engines down there. Kick it on up about 17.9. We are riding the Bandit 4Runner today. Yeah, I'm still enjoying that bike, y'all. We don't have a full battery, but we got enough to do what we're gonna do with. We usually go up this little road and turn around. Now, if y'all remember me talking about the circus people, that used to be a trailer park right there. I'm not going to go any further up in there, but that used to be a trailer park. Met's trailer park. But anyway, that's where them people keep some of their circus equipment up in there. I didn't know it. One day I was flying my drone over it and I saw it and I said, I wonder what in the world that is. It's got a little closer to it and that's what it was. So them people bought that land from the trailer park people. My mama used to drive her school bus up in there all the time. And what I drove over here I was going to show y'all was You take a look right across the road over there. See where that one-way sign is right there? They fixing to put a Love's in there. A Love's truck stop. Y'all have Love's truck stops where y'all live? Well, we fixing to get one. Yep, right up in there. I believe I talked to Jerry here, that the septic tank company. Anyway, this is going to be the drive for it right here. There's going to people, when they coming in and out, they're going to go right there. Yeah, I was talking to my buddy here. That's Big Pen septic tank business. Good friends. They live on what they call the starvation plantation. Don't be fooled by the name. There ain't nobody starving up in there. It was just a playful name that the elder Jerry gave the place whenever he bought it. He said, son, this is going to be the starvation plantation. But yeah, I never known anybody live there that starved. Them people are good people, hard-working people, and they do well for themselves. What about it there, dogs? Of course, there's a lot of traffic on this road. People go into what I call the rest site. Yeah, I call it the rest site. It's been called that for years. I'll let you figure out why they call it the rest site. And my cousin up in here weed eating. Stop and talk to him for a minute. What about it there, Clyde? All right, y'all, we're back with you. We're gonna go take a ride around this cemetery here. I don't know, just to take a ride. Seen a big old snake skin out there in the cemetery, me and David there. Where one of these old big water moccasins come up out of this branch. This cemetery is surrounded by a branch here of a creek. And it eventually meanders around and makes its way back into East Pearl River down there. But yeah, they come around, them snakes come out of that branch. And they come up, I think where one of them had shed its skin. And just the skin was 4 foot long. Oh man, them things give me the willies, I can tell you. Let's see if we can climb this little hill. Oh yeah, no problemo. And that's a pretty steep little hill there too. Yeah, Bandit's got it going on for hill climbing there. Let's just take a ride down this way. Anyway, yeah, we're getting that Love's. I was telling y'all there. A Love's truck stop. Y'all, this is the old highway here. This is old highway 11. But when Interstate 59 came through, all this was changed. And this is Alligator branch right here. This is Alligator number 1. And down the road there is Alligator number 2. Alligator number 2 is what we cross over down on the Asa McQueen Road there. And then we cross it again on the J.M. Stossel Road. So there's 2 alligators creeks. Everything looks good. Oh, we'll ease on across. We're not gonna go far. I spent probably too much time talking to my cousin back there. He takes care of our cemetery for us. And that's a lot to take care of, I can tell you. Mowing around them graves and all. But we're gonna run over here on the road over here, and I'm gonna talk to y'all a little bit about a family of people. Look out, squirrel. I was going to tell you all about a trip we got lined up. You know, other than riding here and out at Flat Top, Bay St. Louis, and then down at Pearlington. That's the 4 places that I ride. With most of my rides being done here on Ridge Road and all. KBR truck. What about it? What about it? Well, we are planning a trip to it's one of the rail trails here in Mississippi. There's a couple of big rail trails. One of them starts in Hattiesburg and runs up to Prentice, Mississippi. And then the other one is that one is the Longleaf Trace, okay? And then the next one is Tanglefoot Trail. And that one runs from Houston, Mississippi to New Albany, Mississippi. Now y'all, just because I got the picture, I'm gonna point the bike right this direction right here. And then I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna put a picture here of Mr. Ben Catlin's place that used to be right here, okay? Ben Catlin was I'm gonna call him a prominent man, prominent citizen. And he was well off. He had property and timber, I think, stuff. He had cows and stuff like that. Yeah, his land joined what then was our land. And Mr. Catlin lived right over there. That was before that railroad come through and all. And what about it there, horses? So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put the picture in. His house was a log house. And it was very unique to this area. There's a lot of houses here was built, you know, I mean, it was all built from logs, but they had used, you know, sawmill, peckerwood sawmill. A lot of times back then when they built a house, back then, they would come up into the area of the woods here, and they'd come build a house. They would bring what they call a peckerwood mill and set that peckerwood mill up in here. Well, if any of y'all know anything about sawing logs and stuff, I mean, a peckerwood mill can be transportable. It's portable. You can move it from one side to the next. Well, they would cut down trees and use those trees to saw down, and that's what they would make the house out of. And but yeah, they used a peckerwood mill. But anyway, Mr. Catlin's house, it was kind of made out of the rounded logs, which was unique because Our old place up here, it was just made like a regular old house, a little wood frame house. But anyway, some of you newcomers may not know it, and I know I keep showing this over and over, but again, we get new subscribers every day, and we just went over 600, and we're headed towards 700 now, and it's moving along pretty good. But this was our old place. This is where we lived. Whenever I was born, of course, I was born at the hospital up at Crosby in Picayune. But this is where we lived. Our little house set right over. And again, let me pull over here. Our house set right up under some little live oaks back in here. A beautiful place. If you got in there and cut those out and trimmed that place up and made it look real sharp looking, that would be a beautiful place. But nobody can live there these days because it's government property. The test site came in the 60s and moved all the people out and bought up all the land. And of course, you know, this was our old place, but we eventually sold the land to another man who put cows in there. And that man had the rights to use that land for those cows, but he can only build a 3-wall structure in there. You can't put a 4-wall structure, and that's some of the rules that you have to live by in the buffer zone here. So I'm gonna put that picture of the old place there. I know I've showed it many times, but I'll put that picture, and that wasn't the house that we lived in, because that old house burned. But the house that my grandpa Albert and them built, it was kind of a funny looking little house, but they raised 13 kids in that house, and it was right. And as we said, this is the old lane right here. Right there is an old lane that went down. And then Mr. Fred Soames, he lived back in the back there. But as you're looking at the picture, that's where the house was, right up in there. Now, 6 months ago, I probably said it. No, probably more. Maybe 8 months ago, I said one day that I was going to name off all the kids. I told y'all it was 13 of them. And I'm going to name them off. Now, I may have them a little bit out of the chronological order, or whatever you call it, out from how old they were and stuff like that. But there was Prentice, Aunt Murtis, Aunt Mintori, Uncle Forrest. They called him John Lucas. Now, I don't know why they called him John Lucas, but that's what the brothers referred to him as. But his name was Forrest Mitchell. Uncle Marvin, y'all have heard me tell stories about Uncle Marvin. My daddy was Preston. Then there was S.T., Samuel Thomas, S.T. B.K. was Byron Kelso, that's my uncle. Uncle Robert. One of the elder ladies was Aunt Rubilee, sweet lady. Of course, all of them was good. But then there was Uncle Toxie. Now, where I showed y'all the driveway for the Loves over there on the highway, that's where Uncle Toxie lived. His old house is still sitting up in there. He had a grist mill and he ground cornmeal for people. And then there was Aunt Evelyn. Aunt Evelyn lives out in Arizona. She used to live in Yuma, but I think now she lives up towards Snowflake or somewhere like that. Anyway, she's in Arizona. I know some of y'all are from Arizona. And then the baby was Uncle Euless. And my grandpa, his name was Albert. And my grandmother's name was Alma. We always called her Elmer. Put that in the back of it, as us Southern folks do. But Grandpa Albert and Grandma Elmer. And Grandma Elmer, from complications of having Uncle Euless, Grandma Elmer died. And that left Grandpa Albert there to have to raise babies. And y'all, I just be honest with y'all, I don't know how they did it. And it wasn't but just a few years, about 3 years or so after that, that Grandpa died. I can tell you, times were hard. That was during the Depression that them kids come up. And I tell you, it would have been tough for any. You take families today that's not used to living like that, and you put them in that scenario, in that Depression scenario, and there would be a lot of people starving to death because they wouldn't know how to make a garden, and how to hunt, how to feed their families, and stuff like that. I don't even like to think about them times. But we mentioned Crosby. Y'all seen him when we go up in Silk Stocking. I showed y'all the mansion the man lived in. Well, they said, you know, a lot of people might look at that and say, you know, there's a man there, he probably didn't care about people. That man did care about people. He did a lot for Picayune. He established a lot of the like the library, the hospital, and all, and he contributed to all of that. Plus, Daddy said, they're about Friendship Park in Picayune, where they got ball fields and all that. Daddy said that the Crosbys planted gardens. They planted strawberries. Acres and acres and acres of strawberries. And they got the people to come that was hungry and needed jobs. And they got all the people to come, and they picked strawberries. Now, what I'm fixing to tell y'all may not believe me, but then again, you older folks, y'all will. They picked strawberries for 25 cents a day. That's what Daddy said. They loaded them up on a horse and wagon every morning. Can you imagine? Look, we can't even get people to, you can't even get people to get up early and go to work nowadays and pay them a nice salary. Well, Daddy and them had to get up before daylight, hook up the horse, and load the buckboard or wagon down with young'uns, and they went up there in them Crosby fields and they picked strawberries for 25 cents a day. Yeah. And that was the man, Mr. Crosby, that did that. Daddy said they would have starved. They didn't have nothing, hardly. But them was hard times. But this family grew up. And like I say, the family got split up. I can't tell you a whole lot about it because I just don't know a whole lot about it. But I can say this, that family got split up. Some of the kids went to certain houses and some went to other houses. Mr. Catlin there, he took and helped raise Uncle BK. And man, I don't even know. I know there's other families that pitched in and helped. Now the older young'uns that was able to fend for themselves, they didn't have to go and off and live in no other family. I mean, I'm talking about stuff that I don't even like to talk about stuff like that, you know, families getting split up and stuff like that. But I can tell you that was the closest, one of the closest families that I know of that I've ever been. Look, our family, me and Mickey and Joey and Donald and Mary, we are close today because of what we saw in that family right there. Now, my sisters and my brother and them, they'll tell you that. But we are a close family today because of how we were raised. And I'll tell you something else. The majority of the boys were in the service. They all left and they did their service. World War II, I know Uncle Toxie was in World War II. Uncle Toxie was in the Battle of the Bulge. Like somebody like Uncle ST, he served in the Philippines on a ship during World War II. Uncle Robert, Uncle Euless, they went to Korea conflict. They went to Korea. I mean, it was just, they all did their part. Mama used to tell us about, son, she said, son, you ought to seen like your church services and all back when the wartime, how they emptied out when all the boys went off to war. You know, that would have been pretty traumatic to them. What else? I can tell you for a fact that every one of that family grew up to be good, responsible citizens, respectable citizens. Not one of them spent a day in jail. And not one of them ever did drugs or ever anything. Of course, drugs weren't like that back then, but I understand that. But they were all respectable citizens. And they didn't have any therapy. They didn't have all these the help groups that people have today. I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about that. But I'm just going to say that they all made good citizens. But why did I pick that family? Well, that's all my uncles and aunts and all, but they didn't have the best of times whenever they was coming up. They had rough times. I know I usually try to tell funny stories and stuff like that. There was nothing funny about the way that they come up and all the things that they had to go through. To see your brothers and sisters, you know, misplaced, taken out of a home where the mother and their daddy had died, and have to be taken away to be brought up and live in different homes and stuff like that. That's been bad. I wouldn't even know what that's like. I'm thankful to have a home to grow up in like we had. There in that little old greenhouse there where y'all see me take off. That's Candace's house. Boy, somebody got some beehives back in yonder. But yeah, that's the little house that we grew up in, and that house will always be my home. I don't care. You can move me anywhere you want to. But that little house will always be my home, and my brothers and my sister, they feel the same way. That ain't never gonna change. Let me swing around here where y'all can see them. Y'all see them beehives out there? That's a bunch of them. Yeah, they not far from the eagle nest. The eagle has got a nest right down there. Right past the beehives down there on that corner. Yep. So anyway, that's all I had today, y'all. I'll kind of unwind and as we go out and let y'all enjoy the view of the old green pasture here. And usually there's some cows. Oh, I see them back up in the back there. But we hope y'all have enjoyed that story. You know, there are stories that I would rather tell. But that's a great story right there of just pure determination. And the way them kids was taught when they was young children in home. And hey, they grew up to be good, respectable, honest people. Never in trouble. You mentioned their name, I can guarantee you, I'll take one. You mentioned S.T. Mitchell or Marvin, or everybody knew them. Everybody knew them. Yeah, they got in some shenanigans and all, you know, messing around when they was boys. They did a lot of things, but it was nothing that was against the law or that would harm any other people. But that's it, y'all. Hope I hadn't bored y'all to death too much today, but I wanted to show y'all the little house over there. And I've been saying I need to tell y'all all the names, and I told y'all the 13 kids, okay? And that was them. So I hope y'all have enjoyed that. And as we ease on out, yeah, we put the stuff on the screen here, y'all. If y'all are interested in the Bandit bike, Bandit good bike, doing me a good job. And yeah, hit that like and that subscribe. Anyway, I don't know if I think I told y'all, but we're going to the Longleaf Trace on the 20th. We're going to the Longleaf Trace on the 20th, and Donald lives in Madison. He's going to come down and join us. I think I started telling y'all, and I got sidetracked over there by the horses. I do that. My train of thought jumped the track. But we're going up there to ride with Donald. So it'd be first time Donald's rode an e-bike. So, yeah, we're gonna make sure we take our GoPros with us for that. As far as I know right now, it's going to be me and Mickey and Joey and Donald riding. Mary didn't want to go, not this time. Maybe we can get her on the next one. Longleaf Trace, it's a 40-some-odd mile trail. Now, we're not going to ride all 40-some-odd miles, but we're going to ride a little bit of it and just enjoy the fellowship with my brothers. Hey, we'll catch y'all on the next one. That's Rip One Outdoors saying we're out.